What's up YouTube, Dave here with wargames, and I'm bringing you an interesting video today. So today I'm bringing you a best of, and this time it's going to be link monsters. So I've got 10 link monsters in front of me. I asked the question to my Yu-Gi-Oh group, just to kind of see what they come up with, and by all means, there was a couple of cards that were identical, which when we go through this list you won't be surprised of at all. And then there was a couple of personal choices which were very, very interesting. Now this is before Cybernetic Horizon, so we will do a special mention right now of course Burello Sword. The chances are Burello Sword will make it into this top cut. And then of course you've got the Mech Knight Red Star, you've got the generic Link, Dark Link and Light Link. I'm not saying that they're going to make it into this list of top 10, but they probably will. They might creep around there. And then, of course, you've got Harate, the new link for Sky Strikers. But without further ado, this is my personal list, and I'll take you through what I've chosen as personal choices. And as we go through, I'll do some special mentions and stuff like that. So we'll start off with the link 4s because these will be the least surprising of the list. And of course, the first one we have is Firewall Dragon. No question why this is in this list. It's incredibly powerful. It is probably towards the higher end of the top 10. Number 1s, numbers 2s, definitely in the top 3. Incredibly powerful and can be very, very abused by multiple decks. This is a card on everyone's lips that they want to be hit on the ban list. It is now down at 1. But they want it gone completely now. I completely understand why they want to do so, and I can understand why Konami wouldn't want to ban one of the protagonist monsters. Next up, of course, is its counterpart on Burello Dragon. Now, I personally really like Burello Dragon. It's incredibly powerful, very, very strong card. It probably doesn't rank as high up as Firewall because it doesn't use and abuse the effects the way Firewall does. But Burello is still a very, very powerful card for your opponent to deal with. And that link, generic link 4 that can be made with 3 effect monsters, it is very, very useful. Now we're moving on to Link 3s. Now this is a personal choice of mine in Decode Talker. Now it is less relevant right now today in this meta. However, as Link 3s go, this in my opinion had a very, very big impact for it being the first Link monster that we ever actually got. I should probably mention at the start of this list that I've kind of missed out. This is only TCG Europe legal, so we won't have Summon Sorcerers in this, unfortunately, and we don't have any of the cards that the OCG got because we just don't know when they're coming out. Anyway, Decode Talker, not only is it budget, it's very, very easily made. It can gain a lot of attack to be able to beat over annoying boards. And then, of course, it does have that target, tribute, negate effect. I'm not saying that this is going to be high, this won't be towards the higher end of the scale. This is probably along the 10 line, possibly dropping out for Burello Sword when it does come out. So, other couple of mentions while we're on the floors. Saruja, it just hasn't really done enough. It's a very, very powerful card, do not get me wrong. The special summon from hand, the boost attacks, the draws, very, very powerful. But when you compare it to stuff like Firewall and Burello Dragon, it just doesn't quite make the cut in comparison. You could take it out for a Decode Talker if you want, but with Saruja, it is along the edge of coming in and out of the decks. Next up, we've got Nightmare Goblin. Now, again, at this point, I will make a special mention to Nightmare Phoenix. Now, Nightmare Phoenix, of course, is a different alternative or a different beast to Nightmare Goblin, being able to pop back row. The reason Nightmare Phoenix will probably battle it out with Goblin for this space on the list is purely because it's generic. It can be made very, very easily, and then the fact that you discard any card and pop a back row and it's a 1900 beater, it is a nice little cheap staple card in any deck. The reason Goblin just pips this is Goblin is being used more and more consistently in a lot of decks, maybe sometimes even 2. It's kind of replaced the Proxy Dragon element of the deck as well, and given that whole left and right link markers, it does become a bit more generic and a bit more useful than Phoenix can do sometimes. Next up, Underclock Taker. Now this is a card, again, this is in a couple of other lists that people put down, but again, it's in my personal list because it can win you games. It was always a nice link 2 that gives you an arrow pointing downwards, and then of course the ability to reduce attack, boost attack, and all that stuff like that can make it a match-winning card. Also helps you unlock the board, give you an extra zone below it, like I said, and then you can get rid of this and use the zone that it is currently occupying. Very, very cheap card, like 10p, and in my opinion should be in 90% of decks out there that have the space to play him. Next up, we've got pretty much 3 cards that are in the Link 2 era that changed the game. Changed the game, revived decks, or brought decks back to the light. So obviously we'll start off with the Heavy Metaphors Electromite. Incredibly powerful card, definitely in the top 5. made pendulums what they are today. Incredibly powerful card. Used and abused Astrograph Sorcerer like no tomorrow, and completely changed the game. So there's no reason why this should not be in the top 10, and like I said, not even in the top 5. So hands down, it's definitely there. Next up, of course, we've got Isolde, 2 Towers of the Noble Knight. This is using and abusing the space right now as it is, being the fact that it is a Link 2, and it can be used as a generic warrior card, especially shown in a Goki deck. Very, very powerful card. Searching, special summoning, the whole 9 yards. Very, very good, very, very useful. Again, maybe just outside the top 5 on this one, purely because it doesn't have as big of an impact as Metaphor's Electromite. But, of course, it does have a bit more generic-y. Being able to... Generic-y isn't even a word. It is a bit more generic, being able to use in multiple warrior decks. And then finally, I've never seen a card change the game as much as this one. So this is getting it on its past merits and the fact that it's still keeping the deck alive. And that is, of course, Spiral Double Helix. Now, when this card was announced in the OCG, it made waves. It was incredibly powerful. It took Spirals from being a, with no disrespect, probably a tier 3, bit of a fun deck, to being an absolute dominating meta card. Very, very powerful card. It doesn't get used as much today, obviously, because Spirals don't have as big a representation because of all the other hits, but there's no way you could leave this card off of the list. Definitely around the 8, 9 and 10 mark, but like I said, I've never seen a card just on its own change a game, change a deck, bring a deck from 3 tiers down to bring it straight up to tier 0. Like, it's an incredibly powerful card, and you know, very, very few arguments to not having this deck, this card in the list. We then have Sky Striker Ace Kagari. Now, Sky Striker Ace Kagari, the reason this is in here, again, probably towards the lower end of the scale, but it is still very, very powerful, is the fact that when it's special summoned, you get to revive a Sky Striker spell or spell in your graveyard, and then you get to use and abuse it again. Not only does it gain attack for the spells and traps in your graveyard as well, on top of that. Now, Kagari, in my opinion, goes over Suzuko and Hirate at this moment in time, because obviously Hirate can't be considered for this list. And Suzuko is more of an end phase threat, whereas this one keeps the threat going for Sky Strikers. And allows you to use and abuse Brick Hound. So if you do have an engage, you use the engage, search out the drone, activate the drone, bring this one out. Use this effect to either get the drone back or, of course, get the engage back. And then you can start looping your way around, getting draws and searches endlessly for what you need it. And of course, finally, the last one on the list is Link Kuriboh. Now, we've only just got this here in the European TCG, but without a doubt, he will be making waves and raves when the new season picks up. This card is incredibly powerful. The fact you can use and abuse it off of Scapegoat probably argues that Scapegoat should no longer be allowed to be at 3. But on top of that, it helps other decks as well. The fact that it's a generic just for a level 1 monster is if you put stuff in like Garp Bulb, you can use it and abuse Link Kuriboh as best you need. It allows you to stall the game out and survive a little bit longer. Again, towards the lower 5s in this area. I hope this has been quite entertaining for you guys, just to kind of see my opinions on the Link monsters and how I think they operate and kind of the hierarchy of Link monsters as they stand today. For now, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. Check out all our Cybernetic Horizon stuff. If you have any deck requests from Cybernetic Horizon, put them in the comments below and we will make sure that we get them done. We have so many coming up for you. We've got Noble Knights, we've got Blackluster Soldier, we've got Necros, we've got Demi Rituals, we've got Crusaders, there's even a pure Goki, so not even worrying about the generic loops and stuff like that. Just using and abusing the new Goki monsters, Cyber Dragons. The list goes on, even Dangers as maybe a possible pure, and of course Danger Dark Worlds as well. But check those out all of next week, along with the case opening on Thursday. Like, comment, subscribe, share so you don't miss any of those. And until next time, as always, happy dueling. Also, YouTube, thanks for watching that video. I hope you liked it. If you did, hit that like button. And of course, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button in the bottom left-hand corner and the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. We've got more deck profiles, duels, pack openings, and many more Yu-Gi-Oh videos coming up for you all year round. So don't forget to stay tuned for all of that. Thanks, and as always, guys, happy dueling.